Broadcasting from the Vegas Video Network studios, just steps from the Las Vegas Strip, it's Awkward Silence 2.1. And now, our favorite host in this particular time spot, it's Brandon Gooch Hahn.
Thank you, two people. Hey, my name is Brandon Gooch Hahn, and welcome to Awkward Silence 2.1 right here on the Vegas Video Network. When was the last show that we had, by the way? How big of a... This may have been like the biggest break in internet television history because I had to get my wisdom teeth pulled, had a gay experience at the dentist. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. Now, if you want to catch replays, you got VegasVideoNetwork.com, iTunes, YouTube, Roku. We're going to have an email at awkward@VegasVideoNetwork.com. We have a phone number that you got to call, 866-966-4599, 866-966-4599. And let's not forget about the live chat. You want to be a part of the show, ask us a question, and we will answer the question on the very same episode. Feel like you are right here in the studio. VegasVideoNetwork.com/live. Now that I screwed that all up, we got to knock the rust off. I think it's time for the seamless segue to camera number 2. There you go. Man, I look at it, it's backwards. All right, so in the news, Jay-Z and Beyonce finally had their baby. On Saturday afternoon, Beyonce gave birth to Blue Ivy. That's the name they gave their baby. Now, before you laugh or scoff at such an unusual name, I just want you to know the name that my mom put down on the original birth certificate, which was White Failure. And Betty White, on January 17th, is going to be turning 90 years old. 90! And when asked what she's going to be doing on her magical day, she said she was just going to be hanging out with her dogs. Oh, that's adorable. And by hanging out with her dogs, what I really meant to say is trying not to die. And in Chicago, a police officer has fallen under scrutiny after he pulled over a young woman, gave her a ticket for $132, but then went back to the station, looked up her address on the computer, and went to her house and left a note on her windshield asking her out on a date, saying, "Since I cost you so much money, the least I could do is take you out to dinner." Well, obviously, he got in trouble for that. Now, that's just a rookie maneuver, isn't it? I mean, this guy obviously couldn't have been on the force for that long because every veteran knows that when you pull a young woman over, you walk up to the car and you say, "Hey, I really like your boobs. Can I take you out for dinner sometime?" No? Oh, well, then here's a ticket for $132. And the biggest music festival on the West Coast is coming, America. Coachella is back in California, and tickets go on sale today. And who better to cover the frenzy than our very own Courtney Leone. Hey, Court.
Hi, Peggy. Gooch. I'm down here waiting in line for tickets to Coachella, and I am stoked. Radiohead, woo!
Oh, cool. You know, I got a question. Why are you dressed like someone I want to punch?
And what a good question that is, Gooch. See, I'm dressing like a hipster so I could blend in with them in their natural habitat.
Oh, thank God, because for a second there, I really hated you. So what are you trying to uncover?
Well, I just really don't understand them. I mean, like, they have this extreme love of PBR, and it makes no sense because they have money for better beer. Granted, they got that money from their parents who gave it to them after working at the corporations that they despise so much. But they need that money so they could buy things like black-rimmed glasses and vintage T-shirts with owls on them. And I hate owls because birds creep me out. They got built-in weapons. Their beaks are like little pointy knives. I don't know. Fucking hipsters.
Hey! Your mom is here. What are we going to do about this?
My mom is here today. I have an evil plan that I'd like to share with you. I am going to replace all of their Boca burgers with real hamburger patties. Sorry, cows, sacrifices need to be made.
Wait, this is your evil plan? You're going to spend all that money, go down there, drive, take all the time, and you're going to try and mess with their meat, their hamburger? Really?
Well, yeah, that, and Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg are going to be there. Where my motherfucking N-words at?
Courtney Leone, everyone.
you know, Gooch wanted me to say the real N-word, the one with the A at the end, but my career is in such a delicate state that I didn't think it would be wise at this point in the game. Sorry.
I wanted you to break the mold, Courtney Leone. We're going to be back with our headliner in just a little bit, but for now, a station ID.
Traditional media believes that after about 3 minutes, you'll tune out. Most Vegas media companies think if it doesn't jiggle, you won't tune in. At the Vegas Video Network, we think both are wrong. The Vegas Video Network is the first and only live online broadcast network that specializes in insider news and expert views about Vegas. We combine great storytelling with the ability to watch when and where you want on your computer, mobile device, or television. Discover the real Las Vegas. Visit VegasVideoNetwork.com.
Where my motherfucking N-words at? And now our headliner. You may have seen him on Comedy Central, and he's a headliner all over the country.
Yes.
Very funny. He's going to be headlining down at the LA Comedy Club inside the Cabo Wabo, which is located inside the Planet Hollywood, tonight all the way through Sunday. It's Peter Berman, everyone. Hey, look at that. That's a good bow. What's happening, brother?
Congratulations. You're killing it here. Seriously.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah. No, I mean, you know I mean that.
Come
no,
on.
You know I mean that.
Shaw.
No, I'm happy for you. I'm proud of you. You're doing a great job.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, Pete was there since the beginning. He saw me when I was
Just a little
like they used to tousle my hair. And now he's like,
Yeah.
but yeah, man, so how's it going?
Everything is good. I'm feeling positive this year, which is amazing to be a comedian and feeling positive.
Yeah, that's really awkward.
Yeah.
Why is this all about?
Because I'm getting older. Yeah, see, I'm getting older, and
You know what? That's funny you'd mention that because I actually read an article that says like the older you
No!
get. Yeah.
Okay.
The older you get, the happier you become. Is that so? Obviously, is that true?
I think you probably start surrendering more. I do. You know what I mean? Right? I mean, even if I always wondered, you know, I'm married. I always wondered, like, married people, like, you know, when they're making it work, like, what's the deal? And you know, I've been married like 13 years, and at the beginning, you just want to fucking be right. You know what I mean? You just want to be right all the time, and now most of the time it's like, all right, I don't need to be right about that one. So,
right.
So I don't know. It just keeps you smoother.
Well,
I did learn this yesterday. I was starting to tell you last night, but I didn't get a chance. But I learned this. Like, I'm always learning, even after being married 13 years. I've been with my wife like 15 years. But I learned this 2 days ago. It is not a good idea to call your wife a pussy. I go, hey, honey, don't be a pussy. And she got mad at me. She's like, wait, did you call me a pussy? And I wasn't calling her a pussy, you know what I mean? It was, in her mind, it was an insult.
Right.
In my mind,
Yeah.
totally seriously, guy to guy, it was some constructive criticism.
Right.
Seriously. Do you know what I mean? Like, if me and you were hanging out and something went down, I go, hey, don't be a pussy. Mm-hmm. As a guy, your instant reaction would be, hey, well, let me just do a quick inventory. Am I being a little bit of a pussy here? And if you are, you'd be like, all right. You might not like it, but you'll adjust how much of a little pussy you're being.
Right,
and if you weren't being one, you'd be like, I'm not being a pussy. That's the introspection
Exactly.
I was hoping my wife would have.
You start going down the bar graph. You're like, how much of a percentage of a pussy am I?
Yeah.
And then, but
in my wife's world, not even a possibility she would be being a pussy at all.
Right.
And between me and you and the people in the Netherlands that are watching this show on the internet, she was being a pussy, seriously.
Right. Well, you know what's crazy? I had an old girlfriend, and she was really bad. And long story short, she caught me masturbating. Anyway, sorry, Court's mom. Anyway, but like...
I find that actually polite of you to apologize to
Yes.
Courtney's mom, and weird.
Well, I'm just saying, like, she's right, and I feel like she's like, oh, that's Courtney's company, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, but anyway,
I just said pussy 7 times.
But this is the deal, right? But this is the thing, though. Like, when she caught me, and she got so mad, she called me a pussy motherfucker. Like, and it wasn't like the way you say, come on, you're being a pussy, come on. You know what I mean? Like, those are fighting words. Like, she was trying to get me to do something. Like,
I think you're already... I'll pre-apologize. Sorry, Courtney. But I'm assuming you're something like this, which is already a vulnerable state. So name-calling.
right.
Name-calling at that point.
Yeah,
really
exactly.
is unnecessary.
Exactly.
Any name.
You saw the look of shock and fear on my face.
Even like weenie or loser, any name would be.
Yeah, but I mean, to take it to that realm.
Yeah.
Now, last night you and I were talking, because Pete is, you're one of those headliners that always writes. Like, there's a lot of guys, that they just get to that point and they're like, I got my set, no need to change it, and then I'm just going to make that. Well, I know it's easy, but the thing is, though, is you constantly are trying to challenge yourself, which I appreciate. But last night you and I were talking, and apparently you and your boy, you saw like a girl, like one of his classmates.
Yeah.
And she had something. Long story short, Pete asked his 10-year-old kid, "Hey, is your friend retarded?"
I said mental disorder. All right. But I was at his school play and they're rehearsing, and there's a girl, and her, she has the, she has the affectation like that, and she's acting like she has a mental problem. So I say to my 10-year-old, I go, "Hey, does she have a mental disorder?" And my son goes, "No, actually, she doesn't at all. She has a muscle problem with her face." And I go, "Oh." And then we both look back up at her, and she's doing something retarded.
Right.
So I looked at my son, and then we both looked back up at her, and he kind of smiled a little bit, and I'm like, wow, that's rough, that's rough. So I wanted to write a joke about that, and in comedy, obviously, it's bad enough I just talked about it here, but you can't really talk about that in that way on stage. So I thought I would
I look at that as a very beautiful father-son moment, like the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
I agree with you, because my parents didn't talk to me about retarded people at all. They just said, don't look. Okay. At your brother. Oh, sorry. Sorry.
Is he in the Netherlands watching?
No, seriously, until I was 15, I didn't know my brother had a mental problem. I just thought he was different than me.
Okay.
But I just thought, man, that's rough, right? That's rough, actually looking like you have a mental disorder, but being totally normal.
Yeah, I get it every day.
Then I thought in my new positive outlook for 2012, I thought you gotta look at everything on the bright side, right? And I just thought, yeah, lots of people might look at this person like that and think they have a mental disorder, but if you don't have one at all, I thought, wow, how impressive the first couple times you meet them. You know what I mean? You exceed their expectations. If it was a grown-up who had a mental disorder, a muscle problem but not a mental disorder, at the supermarket, paper or plastic. I brought my own! They think this is an environmental savant.
Right. He's going green.
They don't know he's just totally normal with a muscle problem.
Yeah.
Which would really show
who would have
how
thought he's trying to save the polar bears.
Yeah, the green movement has really come a long way. That it's trickled down to people with mental disorders. They've really.
So
the people in the Netherlands are going to hate me now.
They're loving it. Boom.
The Dutch.
You're welcome, America.
Yeah.
Joran van der Sloot is not a happy guy. So this weekend, big game for you. You're a big New England Patriots fan, going up against Jesus and friends.
I know.
What do you think about that?
It is scary going up. What do you think about that?
I think Tom Brady already killed a virgin, and he's already got the devil on his side. So,
see, let me tell you, you probably can't appreciate this. Most people can. I was born in Massachusetts, and I've been a Boston sports fan my whole life.
Right.
So the suffering. The suffering.
For starters, Cleveland fan. That's me.
So
let's move.
Really?
Keep it moving.
Okay.
Keep it moving.
I really.
You had the Celtics at least a championship,
Let me tell you this story first. By the way, so I'm working in the UK because I'm an international. I'm an international comedian. And I was working in the UK when the Red Sox won the first World Series. I was in Wales in what essentially was like a Red Roof Inn. It was like they didn't call it that in Wales. They called it something else.
Yeah.
But I was watching it, and they win. And normally, this weekend when you're watching the playoffs, you can hear people in other houses or apartments. There's some buzz. There's no buzz, and nobody within hundreds of miles is watching the World Series except me. And the Red Sox win the World Series. My grandfather never saw it happen. My father lived and died and never saw it happen. It's happening. I'm in Wales. Yeah. And then I realized nobody within hundreds of miles. And then I didn't come back to the United States for honestly, it's the weirdest thing. I'm a Boston sports fan. They finally win, and I was
you have no one to celebrate.
I was alone. It's as if it never happened.
Yeah.
But that being said, even after the Super Bowls, even after the Red Sox, win these World Series, when the Celtics were playing the Lakers in Game 7, 2 years ago, right? They're up by 14, and it's just ingrained. Now you could probably appreciate it as a Cleveland fan. It's ingrained. Like, I'm not thinking it's over. I'm just thinking, how are they going to screw this up? And they did. They screwed it up. So that being said, this game against Tebow, honestly, I'm really nervous. Like, you know, it seems like on paper they should crush him, but I'm afraid something horrible.
From what I understand, the Patriots just hired Solomon Rushdie to run their defense. So he's going to be able to combat all that.
He's going to start the meeting with, hey, why don't you guys turn your head and look for the ball when it's in the air.
And I'm done.
Yeah, remember when they used to do that? They used to turn and look for the ball.
Well, you know, I think that's why the sports is so, with the whole Tebow phenomenon, like, when he threw the 316 last week, I mean, I'll admit it was kind of funny because he had it on his face and, you know, on the pads or whatever. And it was just, people are just losing their mind over, to me, the wrong thing. It's like, to me, the guy really is an inspiration because everybody counted him out.
Yeah, and isn't that enough?
That's it.
That's enough.
Yeah. You know, but instead, like, you know, all he's doing is just alienating all these Jewish people, I guess. You know what I think unless they're from Denver, you know what I mean?
I think it is, though, honestly, like, you know, you watch the Grammys or boxers or athletes, and they're always thanking God, and people are like, yeah, all right, whatever. And I think people almost don't even believe. I swear to God.
Oh, yeah.
I think people honestly almost don't believe people of color when they thank God, right? But a white person,
people of color,
a white person says that they thank God, and people immediately go to that they're the crazy extremists. Like, you can't just be a regular white person and like God. Like, if you say that, you got to be like one of the kind like knock on your door, hand out flyers.
Exactly. What's with the bike helmet?
Seriously, seriously, because like tons of other athletes talk about God. Tebow does it, and people think he's gonna convert you somehow.
Yeah.
But I'm just speaking for me. I honestly only look at him as a football player. All that other crap, I don't know.
Right. So
weren't you the one? I think you were telling somebody else. Reggie White was a minister.
Oh, Reggie White was a minister.
Circles.
Yeah, and prayer circles. Everybody, you gather players from both sides of the team. Hey, you know what? I just got done punching you in the face, but let's all get a knee. Yeah. You know, and no one made a big deal about that. But then all of a sudden, like this, you know, Hitler's wet dream starts praising Jesus, and then all of a sudden, it's like everybody just wants to jump on that bandwagon. It's like, dude, pump the brakes.
I believe in God for sake of conversation. I believe in God, but you know, wait a minute. What was I going to say now? It was something about Tebow and believing in God.
Okay, right. That was good.
Who knows? Hitler's wet dream, honestly, threw me. I like him. I like to think I'm a professional, but you got me.
All right, good.
You got me with Hitler's wet dream.
I'm just saying.
And you know what's funny? You don't apologize to Courtney's mom for that.
Right, exactly, yeah. Courtney's mom isn't Jewish. It's all right.
Hitler's wet dream to anybody.
She's Italian. It's all right. Hey, we got a chat question. What's going on, Scott?
See, Bill just had a comment. He goes, of course, Reggie White was 6'4", 250, and that probably helped get the prayer circle going as well.
But pray now. Well, Tim Tebow's like 6'2", 235. I mean, that guy's a beast too. I mean, if you want to intimidate you, so in other words, he's saying Reggie White's intimidating people to pray.
Right.
Get a knee, bitch.
Do not say Hitler's wet dream because I remembered what I was going to say now.
Okay.
This is what I like. I believe in God, but I like all these people that say that they're blessed when they win their Grammy. They're blessed, or when they win the championship, they're blessed. Like, does it really work that way? Are you only blessed when like really awesome, amazing things happen to you? Like I have you know what I mean? Like,
well, right.
What about me? My life kind of fucking sucks. I'm not blessed.
Right.
You know what I mean? I guess that's not what you think of, but you know, I'm so blessed driving this smashed up Ford Taurus station wagon.
I'm so blessed for gasoline. Well, you know, and that's the thing. Like, I read this article about
Mussolini's wet dream.
Yeah, exactly. You're totally right. Exactly. We're gonna hit them all. We're gonna go Stalin, Chavez. You know what I mean?
I bet they had wet dreams every night. By the way, I bet every night they'd fuck.
No. Oh God.
All that angry tyrant fucking energy built up.
Exactly.
It's gotta ooze out.
Stalin's wet dream is Rocky Balboa. What? Oh, you know, because he was Italian. Little history for you, Netherlands.
Yeah.
Anyway. So, but yeah, like I read this article too, where they just speaking of prayer, like they, our American government actually spent $666,000 in taxpayer-funded grants to do a study to see if prayer would help cure AIDS, and it's like, I don't even need to spend $6
I believe
to
it
know
doesn't,
that.
though. Because I believe if you have unprotected, let's for the sake, gay sex, I bet shortly thereafter you're like, please God, don't let me get AIDS. Please God, don't let me get AIDS. And people still get it. So I don't think. I think that was a waste of money.
Of course, you had to go gay sex. It's like boom. Courtney's mom is here, for God's sake. Sorry.
You know what's funny? Courtney didn't want to say the N-word. I think I've touched on retard somehow, now gay sex, and you know me. It's not even in my. It's not even in my.
It's nowhere near your repertoire.
Cameras in the internet, and I'm talking about all sorts of stuff.
But you know, it's like. But the thing is you know, a study like that. If that were really the case, I mean, you know, you go to. I mean, look at Africa. I mean, they have all types of religion over there, and it's like.
I don't know. Do they?
They do, yeah. Well, they do. I mean, well, there's all types of different religion. I mean, it's like, you know, granted, there's Christians, there's Islam or whatever, but I don't know, to say that's going on, I totally brought it to a weird place. So how are your kids doing, by the way? So he's got a 10 and a 12-year-old.
My kids are awesome. You know,
they are great kids.
You know what's great about my kids for me? What I think now, I'm just saying as a comedian, right? As a comedian. If I was a plumber, I'm assuming my 12-year-old and 10-year-old would know about plumbing. I'm assuming, right? So as a comedian, my kids know about jokes. Like they know how to write jokes, which is really funny because my older son, some of his friends have a really good sense of humor, but my 10-year-old, his 10-year-old friends have like a 10-year-old sense of humor. And they actually, his classmates, my son will make jokes, and his classmates told my 10-year-old that he doesn't have a good sense of humor. And he was really offended, like a comedian. He got offended.
Yeah.
He told me, he goes, they said I don't have a good sense of humor. I go, dude, I know you.
Yeah.
And you've been around grown-up professional comedians. Trust me, you have a good sense of humor.
Yeah.
They don't know. And then he goes, yeah, they laugh at like Tony. He's not even funny. He just like makes noises and stuff. It's not even funny, man.
Isn't that us right here?
Yeah, he's like criticizing other 10-year-olds' comedy. But now they actually will write jokes with me. Like we'll just be joking around in the car, and then they'll go, you should do that in your act. Like the Black Eyed Peas came on. This was our recent one. The Black Eyed Peas came on. And,
okay, I thought you said black guy peas.
Yeah,
I didn't know you said black-eyed peas. All
right. The Black Eyed Peas came on. And Hitler's Wet Dream, by the way, would be a good name for a punk band.
I'd say.
That'd be a good name for a punk band.
Exactly. 2, 3, 4. We are Hitler's Wet Dream. Go.
So the Black Eyed Peas came on. I was like, oh, right. And I go, oh, man, that was the saddest day I ever had, like when they broke up a month ago.
Right.
My kids go, they broke up? And I go, yeah, like about a month ago. And my oldest son goes, well, what are they going to do now? I go, I don't know. I think they just, they want to do their own thing. And then my oldest son goes, what are those other two going to do? and he goes, is someone going to hire that one guy just to go, yeah. Right? So I started, then they made me record stuff into my phone. Then they'll start, say this dude. So I have like I should do my own podcast called the iPhone Chronicles. I should just, because I record, back in the day, especially if I was like,
right,
under some sort of influence, I'd try to write a joke, and I'd leave chunks out just to get it out, and then the next day I'm like, what?
Yeah, exactly.
Cookies?
Yeah.
In the amusement park? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, gummy bears hot air balloon. What the hell is this?
That's actually funny. Yeah, I would leave big chunks out, but now it's fun. The iPod, you just sit on there and stream of consciousness. You can just say all of it. But when I listen back to them, I don't even listen to them for some reason. I'm pretty lazy. I don't have a website. I record jokes that I don't ever do. I always kind of figure if I can remember them, then they're good enough. If I put them on my phone and they. But whenever when I listen back to them occasionally, the setting is always a big factor in where it is. Like if I'm at a bar. Say the Black Eyed Peas broke up. Really, if my wife's sleeping and I think of something bad, it's like, do a bit about the time that I'm whispering, like the tone and the way I say it is always.
Well, that's the thing. Like, of course, when you roll around in the open mic circuit or whatever, you use a lot of alcohol and stuff. So you'll always hear this. I'll wake up the next day and try and listen to what I said, and it's just this alcohol-filled slur. Bitches are crazy. What the hell is this? But I will tell you this. Just speaking back to your boys for a second. Pete used to bring his boys to the comedy club when it was over at the LA Comedy Club when it was at the Four Queens.
Yeah, for one birthday, I said, "What do you want to do for your birthday?" And my oldest son, at the time he was like 10. He goes, "I want to go to Vegas." I go, dude, you're awesome. Like,
Exactly.
10-year-olds want to go to Vegas.
Blowing the dice for me, buddy.
Yeah.
7.
They love, you know, they love, like, they always ask me about you.
Oh,
and the guys.
dude, I love Jack and Miles.
that
Great. You know, I mean, they're great kids. But I will tell you though, one of the only times I got like it was a good compliment was like, keep in mind they were about 11 and 9 at this point, but like
yeah, they've always maintained the 2-year difference.
Yeah, but the thing is though, the youngest one came up and he's like, "Good job, you were funny," and I'm like, "A 9-year-old just said I was funny," you know. It was.
Well, they've watched a couple people and they're like, I don't like him. Me neither.
Right.
One time I was working with.
You know who I don't like? Tony. That
Tony.
Son of a
He's not
bitch.
funny. He just makes
not
noises.
funny at all. Just makes noises. What a scumbag.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's like that. What was that guy? Michael Winslow. Am I
Yeah.
dating myself?
Yeah. Police Academy. I remember I did an interview with him one time. Super nice guy. But I go, "Hey, we got Michael Winslow here," and then he just doesn't even let me ask a question. Just starts doing the noises. Yeah, seriously.
Everything's hilarious.
And I'm like, and this is a radio interview that we're doing, so it's like all they're hearing is like all this weird noises and stuff, and I'm like, yeah. So where are you from? I'm like, what the hell's going on here? You know. So I had to wrap that up real quick.
Yeah.
Like, let's get out of here. So, but anyway, though, anything coming up though? Anything? Any plans? You're going to be opening up a pet store?
Yeah.
You told me that.
Yeah. You know, it's great. I do some other stuff with. I actually like spending a lot of time with my kids, and I like coming to Vegas. I don't like going too far anymore. I used to go to the UK for a month, but actually, I don't care. You know, they say people live vicariously through their kids, but in my opinion, listen, if your kid grows up to be some kind of like rapist criminal, that's your fucking fault.
Right.
And if your kids grow up to be nice, productive people, that's your fault too. Mm. So I like to be involved, so I don't want to go too far. So I'm involved in a couple businesses with my wife. We own a pet
sitting. It was really interesting how you were going to tie in rapist criminal to the pets, and you're doing it.
Yeah,
well done. What a great segue.
But we own a pet sitting and dog walking business, and occasionally I fill in and walk the dogs. And the two worlds rarely meet. I don't really talk about it in my act, and when I'm walking people's dogs, I don't tell them I'm a comedian.
Right.
But and every once in a while, when I'm feeling kind of bad about myself, that this is what I'm doing, that I'm walking dogs, and I'm a professional comedian, then I think to myself, you know what? I might be the funniest dog walker ever. You know what I mean? I filmed my Comedy Central special. By the way, my intro at comedy clubs is he recently did his own half-hour Comedy Central special. Uh-huh. And I think by recently, if you mean 6 years ago.
Right, that counts.
And it was recently. I think it was something like that. But anyway, I taped my half-hour Comedy Central special in New York, dude, on Broadway. Like, you know, it's like
big deal.
Even in the moment, I couldn't appreciate like how cool it was. But it's my own set on a theater on Broadway in New York, and I'm feeling like really good about myself. And then 2 days later, I'm back in LA, and I'm bending over and I'm picking up dog shit for money. And I'm not a huge historian of everything in the world of stand-up comedy, but as I'm picking up the dog shit, I just thought to myself, I guarantee in the history of stand-up comedy, no one has ever filmed a special and picked up shit for money 2 days later. You know what I mean? Like, talk about humbling.
You're a trendsetter, is what's going on.
Talk about
here.
humbling. Yeah.
But you know what though? Like you were just saying, you kind of brought up. You were saying like you're miserable.
Rape?
Of course, yeah, rape. No, but you were saying, but you really are one of the most positive. You have such a positive outlook on things, and like you were saying.
Can you be positive and miserable at the same time? In a way,
I think that's definitely the overall. I think that's what every comic tries to aspire to, because it's like you have such a good outlook on things. But at the same time, I don't think it's miserable. I just think it's the thing that sometimes you have a tendency, and me too, you have a tendency to take a good situation and break it down so much to where it's almost...
Yeah, no, that is why we're friends. Like, I mean, but I think that's the point. Like, I don't know. I mean, people are like, oh, you think about stuff too much. Like, what? I mean, you know?
Yeah.
This life happens so quick. What do you don't want to think about stuff? I don't know. I'm interested. Isn't this all, without the cameras, and isn't this all what people used to do?
Right.
Just sit around
and bullshit.
and think.
Yeah.
Like, that was it. And then we got all sorts of stuff, and it doesn't seem like anybody, but that's, to me, is the whole point, you know?
Right.
But I I'm big on learning lessons. What I realized about 10 years ago, I was big on learning lessons. What I was not very good at was implementing the lesson learned.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I was really good. I would ask myself for help. Be like, why do I keep dating these crazy bitches? And I'd hear the voice, you know, because you want someone to love you. And
A little too much.
And you don't want to be alone. And I'd be like, la, la, la. Oh, cool, it stopped, you know, on with it again until it happened again. So I recently learned, like, you know, it's not the learning of the lesson. We all learn lessons all the time. You got to implement the lesson learned, right?
Yeah, exactly. Take what you. Well, that's the thing. A lot of people they're so afraid to fail that that's why they're afraid to, you know, implement the lesson, because there's a lot of failure that's associated with that.
Like Joran Vandersloot. Now he learned to not kill people.
Yeah, exactly right.
You have to implement the lesson. Does this piece of paper mean we're done?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Usually there's a guy that does wrap it up. You're just picking up fucking papers.
Well, there's a monitor right here, and it's got a red light, and that means let's wrap it up. And that's what we got to do right here. But before we leave, we like to play a little game called 3 Under 30. This is where I get to ask you, the guest, 3 questions that you have to answer in under 30 seconds.
5 quick seconds? Everybody out there, support this cat.
Oh.
Support him. He's a friend of mine, but support him because the whole time I've known you, I'm going more than 5 seconds. The whole time I've known you, but especially in the last year and a half, you're a hard worker. You're determined to be good at what you do, and that's admirable. Whether you're a comedian or whatever you do, and it's paying off. It shows.
Thank you,
now
brother.
Ask me the 30
I
questions.
appreciate
You're welcome.
that,
It's the truth,
brother.
man. Support him.
I love this guy. Okay, but let's get to the question. 3 Under 30. Got the clock ready?
Yes.
And let's wrap it up. All right, here we go. Now, first question: how many stripes are on the American flag?
Oh, you're an asshole.
The Netherlands know it.
50. How many?
13.
13? I was going to say 14.
All right. Shit. What college did Tom Brady attend?
University of Michigan.
All right.
Hail to the...
No,
That's right.
no, none of that song.
All right.
And then the other one is finish this song lyric. Crazy, that's just how it goes. Millions of people...
No.
living as foes.
Why would you do this to me? You're an asshole.
It's crazy.
Hey, you purposely knew I was going to say something nice about you, and then right after...
And then I was like, how many flags?
Hey, support this guy.
Let's talk about how un-American
Peter Berman
Peter Berman
asshole.
Well, Peter Berman's going to be headlining at the LA Comedy Club located at the Cabo Wabo inside the Planet Hollywood.
On the
tonight.
Strip, in Las Vegas, in the United States,
Nevada.
in North America, on this planet. Find it.
And that's going to be going on tonight through Sunday. Very funny. And if you check him out on Twitter as well, Twitter at PeterBermanHaha.com.
That's right.
All right. Peter, thank you very much for stopping by,
you.
brother. We're going to be back next week at 1 o'clock. Every Friday, Awkward Silence 2.1 right here on the Vegas Video Network. Don't forget to catch the replays on Roku, iTunes, YouTube, and the VegasVideoNetwork.com.
Netherlands.
You guys take care. We'll see you next Friday. Bye-bye.